Welcome to WDUR 1490 AM. This is Steve Rao, Mayor Pro Tem of the town of Morrisville, and you're here listening to Leaders and Legends. And we just want to wish everyone a happy new year, 2016. We're all getting back to work and looking forward to getting to work in Morrisville. So I want to wish all of you a happy holidays, no longer happy holidays, a happy new year. And before I introduce my guest, what I wanted to say was the next two shows are going to be around the celebration of the life and legacy of the late Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who led one of the greatest civil rights movements in the world. And we have the MLK Day on January 18th, series of events off the Triangle. And we wanted to, during these segments, connect the Indian American community with the African American community and the civil rights movement of Dr. King, Reverend King. And the reason is that many of us sometimes forget that Mahatma Gandhi, the father of India, began his freedom fight for India through civil disobedience movement. And this civil disobedience movement spanned over 5 continents and ended up inspiring the young Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King to lead the civil rights movement in that same fashion. And it ended with the March on Washington and tremendous progress and a lot of similarities between Gandhi and King. And one of the things I'm trying to do as a community leader is to draw those bridges, build those bridges between these communities. And so with that being said, I'm very honored to have with us today Mr. Al Cohen, who is the CEO and founder of Jira Management. And he and I met at a church service we were at a few weeks ago, and that led to a very productive conversation. And Al, we want to welcome you here, and we're honored to have you here, sir.
Well, it's great to be here. Once again, Happy New Year to all our listening audience and everyone here in the studio. We're just grateful for the opportunity to be here with you today.
Fantastic. And so Al's going to talk about one really big event coming up on January 16th. And, but before you do that, Al, just could you give us a little bit of background on your business and what brought you here and sort of your reasons for being so engaged with this kind of initiatives?
Yeah, well, before we do that, we just want to just thank Steve Rao for all the great work that he's doing in Morrisville and throughout the Triangle area. You know, his efforts and his endeavor and working real extensively with the community and just being a part of all the great efforts that are taking place in the community from the ground level. So, Steve, we thank you, once again for this opportunity.
It's an honor. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Al Cohen. I'm the CEO and founder of Jira Management Group, which is a national marketing, promotion, and production event planning organization. We do several events throughout the country on an annual basis, working with major corporations such as the NBA, the NFL, political organizations, nonprofit organizations, as well as colleges and universities. And we are based here, one of our offices locally in the Cary area, in the Cary community town of Cary. And we've been, for the last couple of years since we've been in the town of Cary, been working alongside with the Park and Recreation of the town of Cary, in addition to the mayor's office. And last year, they invited us to, utilize our connections and our services and our expertise in helping to strengthen the MLK Dreamfest weekend that they've been doing for the last 17 plus years. And so last year, taking on the responsibility, being retained by the town, we were able to bring in Naomi King, which is the sister-in-law of the late Dr. Martin Luther King. We were able to bring a member of the King family in, and she was married to Martin Luther King Jr.'s brother, A.D. King. And she is a very interesting woman, in her 80s, and she had a plethora of historical events and accounts that she was able to share, with hands-on experience, being an eyewitness of the legacy of the late Dr. King, because once again, she married into the family. So she came last year. We had the event at the Cary Theater downtown on a Saturday. The night before at the Barnes & Noble in Cary, we had a book signing because she wrote a book entitled Two Brothers Who Dared to Dream. And it was the story about her late husband and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. working together in the civil rights movement, because a lot of people didn't know how intricate that her husband, Dr. King's brother, worked alongside each other in the civil rights movement. And then that Saturday at the theater, we showed a documentary on the life of her husband, A.D. King. So this year we decided, based on so many things that were taking place across the nation as it related to racial tensions and, the shooting, armed African-American men by, white officers, or whether it had been the racial tension and the upheaval, of, temperaments arising on the university campuses here in North Carolina and the college campuses. We just thought that it would be appropriate during the MLK Dream Fest week this year to kind of go back and take a look at the passion, the commitment, the, intensity that the late Martin Luther King Jr. had as it related to equality, and racial, healing, and reconciliation, as well as equality for all races and ethnicity.
Fantastic. So with that being said, so you and I are working on this event together, but can you talk a little bit about this event we're having on the 16th?
Yeah. So on January the 16th, which is the following Saturday, we're having the first annual Diversity Summit in the town of Cary at the Cary Arts Center. Now, that particular event is an event that is going to deal with the subject matter of diversity. Does it matter? We're bringing several groups together, from religious organizations, the church, from community leaders such as Steve Rao, who's working with us extensively on this, and the corporate sect. And we're having panelists and moderators that are going to be there from these different fields, some of the prominent church leaders, some of the largest churches in the Triangle area. Those leaders will be here, such as people like Pastor Benji from New Hope Church, Pastor Classy Preston from Pleasant Grove Church, Pastor Jasper Wilkins from Wake Chapel Church, Pastor Andy Thompson from World Overcomers, and Pastor Ron Lewis from Kings Park International Church, just to name a few from the church segment. And our moderators that we're having from Time Warner Cable News is Lenny Sapel. We have one of the moderators from ABC News, Eyewitness News 11, Joel Brown, and UNC TV News, Deborah Noel. So we have I would say, a star-studded panel list and moderators and different ones that are, lending their voice to this particular subject matter, to, open up the discussion, where diversity is concerned. And as Steve Rao said earlier, this was something that was heavy on the heart of the late Dr. Martin Luther King, to the point that he adopted a lot of the methodology and a lot of the, I would say, philosophy of the late Mahatma Gandhi.
Exactly. And I think, this all began, a year ago when I met Pastor Harshaw, Duma Harshaw, who hopefully will be coming on next week, who's the chairman of the MLK committee. And my great-grandfather, U. Rama Rao, was in the legislature in the state of Tamil Nadu. and he left to go join the civil disobedience movement. And his son, Krishna Rao, went on to become the mayor of that same city, then became the speaker of the House of that state. And so many of my families, I always had this personal connection between the Gandhi freedom movement, but then saw the connection, always reading about the historical connection between Gandhi and King. And I find it very interesting as with a growing South Asian community, many of these causes go beyond whether we're Indian American or South Asian or African American, but come down to King's dream and Gandhi's dream of basically social justice and freedom, and freedom for the nation of India, which we celebrate in August on Indian Independence Day, but then freedom for all Americans that we could sit together at the table of brotherhood, and as Dr. King had said in the March on Washington. And so this idea that we can pull these two communities together as we continue to grow. And I can't think of a better time in our nation's history. I've never in my life, I'm in my mid 40s, but seen this country more divided, more afraid right now with the terrorism, the violence, the political division. We need to this is a good time to go back and reflect on history and say, where can we be united? It doesn't matter where you come from. And so I think that we really thank you for, doing this. And my question is, as I'm going to be involved in this, I'll be doing a prayer, saying a few words to the community, but these panelists, are they going to be talking about things that we have to do to get better with being unity? How do we embrace diversity better? I mean, are there going to be different talks about this? Is that what these panels are going to be addressing?
Well, the whole purpose of the summit is, first of all, to take the conversation from out of the closet to the forefront. Because as you said, because of the upheaval of terrorist attacks and, racial tension, people are becoming more frustrated, about things that they're seeing, but they're not communicating and coming together to talk about strategies and what do we need to do from here to make things better or to, increase, the awareness or the diversity that's needed, the unity that we so sadly missed, of all of us coming together, working together, to bring forth a better nation, a better community, ultimately a better, life, a quality of life for everyone, because our strength is in the unity.
So, and I think this is a great theme. Then, we want to encourage everyone to have a theme of unity. And the Research Triangle region, we're going to have Bob Giolis in a few weeks, and he's a CEO of the RTP. But we're such a diverse community. We have people from all over the world living here.
Exactly,
and it's, I think, a really great opportunity for us to use these type of events to bring these communities together.
Right,
which is why we wanted to have Al on the show today. Many of our community lives in the town of Cary and the town of Morrisville, and we'd love to have some of you who are listening today come and join us at this wonderful breakfast, it's at the Page Walker Arts Center, right? And it will be at
the Cary Arts Center.
Cary Arts Center.
Downtown Cary.
And it starts at what time?
Doors open for registration because there's free registration, there's complimentary breakfast and lunch, and you can go online to eventbrite.com to register, or there's a number that you can call, which is 919-999-7990. Once again, that's 919-999-7990. You can ask for Janet or whoever picks up the phone, and they can walk you through the process of registering online with Eventbrite. Now, we need you to register, as soon as possible, because seats are limited. There's only a certain capacity at the Arts Center, and seats are filling up real quick. So if it's first come, first serve. And once again, as Steve mentioned, we want the community, the Indian community, to really come out, support, show their solidarity, because it's not usually when people think about MLK Dream Fest or MLK Weekend, they kind of limit it to a certain group of people, the African American group of people. Right. And it's not about the African American group of people, because although he was African American, he was a spokesman for the nation.
Exactly. And that's a great way to close this segment out, because I know, we got some other things we're going to talk about today, but that's a great way to close this out is, I think that as we continue to grow as a community, it's so imperative that we tie these communities together and understand that it's all trying to achieve the same goal, which is unity, embracing our diversity and
inclusion.
We want inclusion. And I do, as one of our community leaders, would ask as many people as possible to please come and share this great moment. Just like when I delivered the reconciliation prayer at the MLK breakfast last year, it was so great to see some new Indian American faces, South Asian faces in the audience. And we want to see that again for this event. On the Monday evening, they're going to be doing a Bollywood dance performance for the first time at the Progress Energy Performing Arts Center. And so the first time that they're going to be doing that to show this connection between these two communities. And so we have a really great chance to write that next chapter working together. And we want to extend, we had Pastor Harshaw come and speak at the Gandhi Jayanti celebration, Gandhi's birthday. And we want to invite Al to come to those events. And then we have an Indian Independence Day at the Hindu Society temple every August. And we want to have leaders from some of these ministers and pastors come and talk about social justice and Dr. King, so that people don't just think of Indian Independence Day as only a thing that the Indian community goes to. Right. We want other people to come and remind. And I think this is a very important lesson for our children, moving forward. So,
and that's a great point, Steve, because one of the things I also want to say before we close this segment is that this is a family event. So it's not something where you look for a babysitter or keep your kids at home. Your kids are welcome. It's a Saturday. It's family day. So we want the family to come out because we want the knowledge to transfer over to the next generation and how important it is for us to embrace diversity, the difference among every ethnicity and every different group of people in America.
This is fantastic. And this is exactly the kind of thing that we want to do. So I remind everyone to be there next Saturday, the 16th, and we'll be honored to see you there. And let's begin this journey together. We want to thank Al for coming, and we look forward to a long-term friendship with you and your community leaders. And on that note, we will be back right after a quick station break. Welcome to WDUR